All right, the next item is balance sheet. All right, the word itself suggests it has to balance. If it doesn't balance, nobody goes home from work. All right, that's what happens normally, typically in accounting roles. So we'll look at the major classification of balance sheet, what are reported and what not. Okay, so the balance sheet here is assets. All right, so assets must equal to liability and equity, as you see in the small picture there. It has to balance. It has to balance. All right. So balance sheet provides a snapshot. Income statement is for a period, which is typically 12 months. Balance sheet is at the end of that period, which is typically a snapshot of the company or your firm, indicating what is the assets, what is the value, what the firm owns, what are the value of the firm's debts, how much of debts they have, which is liabilities, and shareholders' equity, which is the capital, money invested by the company or the owners of the company. That's typically what the balance sheet will do. Provides a snapshot. It is defined by the equation. This standard equation comes into the balance sheet. Assets will be one side, being funded by, how did you fund your assets? You either borrowed money to fund it or you put capital in your company to fund the assets. That's how the whole thing works. When you start a business, you have to fund your business by injecting your own money or borrowing money. So one side is borrowings, one side is capital. That's what it means. What are the assets you'll have in your balance sheet? Current assets and fixed assets. We'll be looking at what current assets and fixed assets are. What are the funding sources of funding? Current liabilities, long-term liabilities, or owner's equity, which is your capital. Right. So assets are being funded by these three items, which are liabilities, long-term or short-term, which is current liabilities, and owner's equity. Current assets are those assets of a firm is cash plus all other assets the firm expects to convert to cash within 12 months or less. Typically, they are receivables. When you bill your client, the client owes you money, has not paid you yet. It sits in your balance sheet as a current receivable from your client owing you money. In a company where they sell products, they will have inventory. Inventory means stocks, putting in the warehouse, the stocks there which they have made but haven't sold yet. Those are current assets. Why they are known as current? Because they can be converted normally within a period of 12 months into cash. Inventory, you take the inventory, you sell it, then you becomes receivable, and then you collect cash later. So they are convertible. When you bill your customer or your client, you invoice your client, that will be sitting in your current assets. And whatever money you have in your bank, short-term deposits or bank balances, they're all current assets. Fixed assets are of a different nature. Like just now in the example I told you, if you buy a motor car for your company or your firm, that is a fixed asset. It's of a fixed nature. It is not going to be converted because it is usually there will be there for a period of 5 years, which will be the economical useful life. Property, plant, or whatever, those are fixed assets. So two types of assets. One is fixed, the other one is current.
Mr. Nagulan?
Yep.
What about, okay, so in law firms, they have like these rentals, like photostat machines and stuff. Where would that sit?
Leasing, is it?
They have like long-term leasing for photostat machines.
Yeah, so I will come to one area later, but I can talk about it now. In terms of leasing, there are two types of leasing. One is known as operating leases. Typically, all these photostat machines and all these things where you don't get yourself bothered about what happens to the photostat machine. Anything goes wrong, the vendor will come there, repair the photostat machine, and then you will have, if there are repairs, the only thing you might be charged on is the number of prints you do and whatnot. Yeah. You'll be charged. The ownership of that photostat machine is not yours. So that's known as an operating lease. So whatever you pay for your operating lease will be charged off as an expense in your P&L as like a rental. On the other side, you have financial lease. Financial lease is where you will take ownership of the property or the machine or the car or whatever at the end of the tenure of the period where you settle your loan or whatever. A typical example of financial lease is like what you do in a hire purchase agreement. So when you do have financial lease, only the interest portion of it can be charged to the P&L, not the principal sum, because the principal sum is going into as fixed assets. Where that's why a lot of companies, a lot of businesses prefer to go into operating lease, because no hassles, not bothered about repairs, and you don't want to have ownership of the asset at all right? You just want to charge it off the expense and move on. Current liabilities are those which are the firm owes. Typically, current liabilities are those money you owe to your creditors, your suppliers and all, which needs to be paid within 12 months. Normally, tax liabilities need to be settled. All right. You have your settlement period, which has been prescribed by the revenue department. Long-term liabilities are of a longer nature. All right. That's if you take bank loans or you issue bonds, right, attracting crowdfunding, you borrowing money and all, those are long-term liabilities which will be having a maturity period more than a year. Stockholders' equity is your capital, which is the amount of money received from selling shares to your investors or your partners bringing money into your business, which is a capital. And remember, after all your profit, you derive all your profit, you pay off your dividends, you still got leftover profits. Those leftover profits are plowed into your business back again to drive growth in your business, which is called retained earnings, which will increase your equity of your company. Standard, all right? You'll drill through this thing already. You cannot forget for life, I'm sure, right? Assets equals to liabilities plus equity. And you got to turn it the other way around, all right? So what is assets minus liabilities? Asset minus equity?
Liability.
Liabilities.
Okay. If you don't have liabilities in your company at all, then assets is equal to equity. Right? Simple as that. But generally, later when we do in the second session next week, we'll see how do you capital structure your company accordingly to make sure that you optimize the cost. You have cash, you got accounts receivable and land. I grouped it together as total assets of this particular business, right? And part of it is current asset, part of it is fixed assets. Then you got liabilities, accounts payable and other payables, 200. And then you got owner's equity, which is capital, stock, they call it, or capital. Retained earnings is the money which you put back in your business, 140. So total liabilities and total equity is 340. Both of this must equal always. Then only the balance sheet will balance. So this is how the accounting equation works. If you look at the accounting equation, assets is 340, your liability is 200. 340 minus 200 gives you 140. 340 minus 140 gives you 200, which is your liabilities. All right, this is the typical accounting equation, which translates itself into a balance sheet.
Is there any if the liability is way higher than everything else, then apart from concluding that they are working at a loss,
you could have, it'll eat up into your capital. You'll be having a deficit situation. So if liability is very high, what happens, you can have, you see what happens is you can have liability of 500 or so, and your equity could be 50 or whatever. So 500 plus 50, you must have assets this side of 550 anyway. It is a balancing thing, all right? It has the impact. Remember, we went through by each transaction, everything needs to hit one of those things, one of those elements. So what is the usefulness of a balance sheet? You evaluate the capital structure of your company or your firm. You can understand the risk involved because you look at the balance sheet, you look at your debts are very high, your owings are so much, and all these things, it gives you an indication, the solvency of the company or your business and the financial health of your business. It gives you a good indication of it. Okay, this is the format. I'm giving you a simple format. This must equal to each other. All right, I put all the fixed assets, total assets minus current liabilities, which I call it net assets in this case. So assets minus liability equal to equity, right? Remember, yes, now. All right. So I'm just putting certain items inside here, okay, with certain long-term liabilities, which I'm putting it into this line here. Whichever line you put also, you'll still have to balance. Using this format, same like yes now, you got all these items here, property, cash, computers, accounts receivable, long-term liabilities, equity, inventory. Inventory is like stocks, is a current asset item. Accounts payable is a liability. So if you use this format, same format I'll give you. There are some fixed assets. You know what are fixed assets, all right? Look at it very closely. What are those fixed assets? What are those things which falls into current assets? You must identify and add them up together and put into current assets. And then you've got to find out what is current liabilities in this case here. And then you'll get something called net assets. And then you fix your numbers for equity or share capital. Long-term liabilities. Do you have long-term liabilities in this question? You put it there and see what happens, total liabilities and equity.
Why?
You know, you can imagine how the accountant's life would have been about 50 years ago when there were no computers. They had to manually record it down in their ledger and all, and then they never got it balanced because something went wrong somewhere. And then they have to sit in their office for hours trying to balance it. And then if it doesn't balance, we'll just put a balancing figure and go, sorry, there's a mistake here.
I got 3450. I'm pretty
Your long-term liabilities and equity is 5,500. I think the numbers were wrong. Sorry, there's a mistake in this number. What did you get your net assets as? Your fixed asset is 3,000 plus your computer 3,150, correct? And then you had your accounts receivable and your inventories.
4,150.
Accounts receivable is 800, inventory is 1,300, is 2,100. 1 minute, huh? I think because I changed the question the other day, I probably added up wrongly.
Okay, now I don't feel so bad.
I know. Accountants can make mistakes too, all right? So you have 1,500 in cash, computers is 150, sorry about it, minus plus 800 is your accounts receivable, minus your accounts pay, inventory is 1,300, 4,150 minus your accounts payable. The question is wrong, guys. Sorry about it. I'll fix it and send it to you separately. Sorry about it. It is not a trick. Sorry. That the intent was to put the balances in because one of the figures has been wrong. So it doesn't balance. You didn't balance it?
No, it just reinforced my belief that I can't count to save my life.
No. If you didn't balance it, it's very good. If you had balanced it, there must be something wrong. Okay. Sorry about it, guys. No, all right. I'll send you the answers because I'll send you these separately. Something went wrong with this. The equity is not 3,750. I picked up the wrong number. All right. Sorry about it. Okay. The last statement which we'll be doing down here is not doing an example on it, but it is a financial statement, which is your cash flow statement. It tells you the timing and the uncertainties of cash flow. Remember, profit is not equal to cash. Why is not equal to cash? If you bill your customer, you show it as an income stream in your business. It is not the time when the customer or your client pays you. Both things comes at different timings, all right? So the question you ask yourself sometimes is, why is that I got a lot of profits, but I don't have money in the bank? Why? Because probably what happened is your collection period is 70 or 100 days. Your client is not paying you, but you recognize as an income in your P&L. On top of it, you've taken some of your money and bought fixed assets. A lot of fixed assets. You bought a motor car and all. Your bank is at a deficit at the moment, despite the fact you have made profits. So a cash flow statement will tell you what is really happened to your money from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. What are the changes which have taken place? And it shows you what cash you receive, how you spend that money. Because cash received and what is being spent is not equal to income and expenses because they follow a different accounting concept of revenue recognition, matching concept. Cash is actual money coming and money going out of the business. So the statement provides the answers for where did the cash come from, what was the cash used for, and what is the change in the cash balance. That's the statement of cash flow statements. I won't get into a detailed example on this, but just for you to know that the fact that there is something like a cash flow statement, because a P&L doesn't explain why the answers to the why do you have so little cash despite making so much of profits, or why do you have so much of cash despite making losses? Could be that you have sold some property and brought the money into your business. This different things could have happened. So a cash flow statement, the thing is, it will show different activities. How much of money came from operating activities? How much of money came from investing activities, like you have bought shares in companies or whatever, how much of dividends you have got from there, and how much of monies are involved in financing activities. If you have taken loan, money would have come into your business. You have paid interest, money would have gone out of your business. So this tells you a different story altogether compared to a profit and loss account. It is actually what the cash flow statement trying to do is trying to tie up the pieces. Why profit but no money? Why loss? There's still a lot of money in the company or the business. It tells you that story. All right. Don't worry about the format. It's just to understand there exists a statement like this. Okay. A quick one. 1 minute. I got to do something here.
Welcome back to New Venture Mentor. I'm Kate Costa, and today we're remaking one of my most popular old videos, the 5-Minute Finance Lesson, covering the basics of understanding your financial statements. If this is your first time here at New Venture Mentor, be sure to subscribe and join the thousands of entrepreneurs I've helped to launch and grow their businesses, and be the first to know every time I add a new video. One of the biggest issues I see with with entrepreneurs, no matter how big or small their business, is that they don't have a grasp on their financials. If you don't have an accountant, you clearly need to have at least a basic grasp of how to manage your business's financial health. And if you do have an accountant, you need to understand what she gives you and be able to have an informed conversation with her about your business's financial performance and where improvements need to be made. Now, is all of that going to happen in a 5-minute finance lesson? Obviously not. But at least you can get a basic understanding of the 3 main financial statements: the balance sheet, income statement, and statement of cash flows, and what each means for understanding your business. The first financial statement that you'll need to know about is the balance sheet. The balance sheet shows a company's assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity as of a specific date. Its assets are split into current assets, which includes liquid assets such as cash and accounts receivable, and property, plant, and equipment, which are less liquid assets such as land, buildings, and obviously equipment. Liabilities are also split into current liabilities and long-term liabilities. Current liabilities are those due within the next year, while long-term liabilities are those due in over a year. So, for example, if you have a mortgage, the portion of the mortgage that is due within the next 12 months would be counted under current liabilities, and the rest of that mortgage would be counted under long-term liabilities. The total assets and total liabilities plus shareholders' equity must equal each other. So if you create a balance sheet and those two numbers don't match, you've made a mistake somewhere and you need to go back and check your work. The second financial statement that you'll need to learn is the income statement, also known as the profit and loss statement. The income statement shows a company's profit or loss over a specified period of time, and it shows revenue and expenses split into operating and non-operating income. Operating income starts with sales and cost of goods sold to give the gross profit margin. It then deducts operating expenses split into selling expenses and general and administrative expenses. Selling expenses are those expenses directly related to sales and would include things like sales commissions for your salespeople. Administrative expenses include the costs of running the business that are not directly related to sales, such as office supplies and utilities. The gross profit minus your operating expenses gives you your operating income, and then you add or subtract the non-operating income, such as interest, to get your net income. The final financial statement that you'll need to learn is the statement of cash flows. The statement of cash flows is vitally important, as many small businesses fail not because of profitability issues, but because of cash flow issues. The statement of cash flows shows a company's inflow and outflow of cash over a specified period of time. The cash flow statement is broken into cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities. For cash flows from operating activities, you start with the net income, and then you adjust for non-cash revenue and expenses such as depreciation, accounts receivable, and accounts payable. For cash flows from investing activities, you include things like the sale of a factory or building or equipment. And finally, for cash flows from financing activities, you'll include things like the sale or purchase of stock or distribution of dividends. This gives you your net increase in cash. Add that to the cash you had at the beginning of the period, and you'll know how much cash you have on hand and available now. Now that you understand the very basics of these 3 financial statements, you'll better understand how your company is performing so that you can strategize for future growth. If you need a bit more info, which you will, I have some old school New Venture Mentor videos linked to in the description below the video that will give a bit more background on each of these financial statements separately. That's it for this week. If you liked this video, remember to share and subscribe so you'll never miss the latest tips.
Okay. All right. Now we got a small learning assessment. It has 8 questions. Everybody can look at the question. You can just jot it down. Number 1 is A, number 2, B, or whatever. Record it in your own papers, and then you can do a self-assessment when I go through the answers after this. The first one, which is not a liability?
Accounts receivable.
Correct.
B.
All right, great. What's the next one? Assets total 50, liabilities 10. What's equity?
B.
Hey, great. The financial position of business on a given date is reported on what? Profit, income statement is for a period. Balance sheet is at a point of time.
Balance sheet.
At a given date. Financial position at a given date. Okay. Investment of cash into the business result in what?
B.
Decrease in cash.
Investment of cash into the business. When you bring, when you start your business, you bring cash into your business. What happens? You're bringing it as capital, right?
Increase in cash and
Cash
increase
and
in
increase in
capital.
capital.
B.
All the answers are B. Keeping the records of business separate from personal records of the owner is what?
B.
What B. If during the accounting period the assets increased by 7,000 and the owner's equity decreased by 3,000, then the liabilities must have what? Just put the equation of asset equals to liability plus capital on your piece of paper. And then what you have the question, the asset has gone up by 7,000, positive, gone up by 7,000. And then what it says, the equity decreased by 3,000, went down by 3,000. Then what would have happened? Hey, liabilities must have increased by 10,000, because how did you get your assets? You put your equation and see, put on the piece of paper and see how it works. For this, capital has gone down by 3, liabilities must have gone up by 10. 10 minus 3 must have given the impact of the increase in 7 in assets. During the accounting period, assets increased by 5,000 and the owner's equity increased by 1,000. Then the liabilities must have, what would have happened to the liabilities? Same way you put in a piece of paper, all right? So what it says is assets increased by 5, so went up by 5. Then it says owner's equity increased by 1,000, went up by 1,000. For this to happen, what has happened to your liabilities?
Decreased by 4,000.
Increased by 4,000.
Increase.
Because you need, if your asset want to go, you see, the whole idea here is your assets of your company can be either funded by equity or liability, two aspects. Financial statement keeps track of inflow of outflow of cash is called what?
D.
Statement of cash flow. Remember, guys, we just did, shows what money comes in, what money goes out.
No questions, but Sheena says this is very entertaining and informative. Yes, thank you.
Entertaining because I made a mistake. That could have been very entertaining. I'm sorry about that. Those who are in corporate, today we went through the very basic 101 of fundamental accounting principle. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Bye.